most wonderful time of the year. It's March. March Madness is back. Brackets are out. We're ready. Everyone wants to get their bracket done. I get it. It's very hard to win. It's very, very hard to win a bracket pool. It's very, very hard to win any games. This is the toughest thing you can do, which is what makes it the most fun. Smack talk, Cinderella's, glass slippers, whatever else Cinderella did, a pumpkin, a carriage, whatever it is. It's the best, right? But you don't want to rely just on the one bracket. By the way, anyone who does more than one bracket, what are you doing? You have no self-respect. You have no respect for the game. Figure out your bracket, stick to your guns, have some confidence. We're going in. We're nailing all the picks. Point is, you want to have something aside from the bracket so you can profit and enjoy this regardless. So I picked out 12 bets for the first round of 64, whatever they're calling it now. First round is first four, I guess. Who knows? The round of 64, the real first round, starts Thursday, finishes Friday. And I got 12 of them that I really like. I'm going to go through each one with a small note from each at the very least. Let's pull up the bracket. Let's get into the good stuff. Here we go. Now, you got my whole bracket here. I'm going to give it away. I will. I have no problem with it. This could change. It could change. But my final four right now, I have Arizona. I have Arizona winning it all, beating Iowa in the final four, throwing a 5 seed in there. There's been a lot of 5 seeds if you look back. Not sure about that trend, but I just like the way Iowa scores. Keegan Bradley, just ridiculous. Gonzaga, I think will make it there and just continue to lose in the big game. Probably Kentucky's too good. I wanted to take Purdue over Kentucky. I tried, but Purdue doesn't play defense. So this is what I have for now. Let's go through each of the picks that I really like and why. The first one I have on this board, and we're talking Vegas odds. We're talking trying to make some cash. It is, where are we? I think they're in the bottom, and there they are. The Jackrabbits, folks. The Jackrabbits. You take them. They know how to win games. I was on Providence early in the season. They had a pretty good run. A lot of these early wins, a lot of these wins against ranked teams came earlier. They have fallen off a bit. And this is really eye test stuff that I'm not enjoying from them. I like them. They've done a good job. I mean, they don't have a lot of good players, is the truth. Which sounds silly. They're a 25-win team. I get it. They don't have an overwhelming scorer. Their best rebounder is kind of just a guy. I don't see any overwhelming talent. So the coaching job by Ed Cooley that was done here is fantastic. But you need dogs. And I just don't think they have enough. I don't see them making a big run. And I really think they're in danger of losing this game. And you can get South Dakota State. And here's, you look at Ken Palm. I think they're like 50. Providence is 49th. South Dakota State, spelling, 71, which isn't that far from one another. They have the 12th best offense. They can nail threes. They really can. So it just feels like this is a fraudulent Friars team. And the Vegas odds are kind of begging us for this, right? Plus 106, South Dakota State. I think if there were no seeds involved, if these numbers weren't here, the 4 versus 13, South Dakota State would probably be a favorite. I think they're trying to balance action here. They've played nobody. I get that. But they went undefeated in conference. Same thing I'm going to say about one of the teams that we'll take later. I think winning just matters. And I just don't see it with Providence right now. I'm worried about their defense and their offense and their just lack of overall talent. I mean, 45% from 3. Look, you can live and die with it. We just need them to win the one game. So get out there, Jackrabbits, jump around. That's your first one. Second one, we're going 9 versus 8. This one is a tougher game, I'll admit. Normally, I don't pick against senior experience, which would go to Boise. However, I am going to take Memphis in this one, minus 142. They are a bigger favorite than I imagined. Which actually makes me like them a little bit more. It feels like Vegas is pushing action on Boise. You can get Memphis at minus 142. They lost Imani Bates, but it seemed like addition by subtraction, and they've been through this before. They've lost high recruits early in the season. Wiseman, same kind of deal, and the team just gets better when they leave. So credit to Penny Hardaway's coaching. I think let's just not forget how hyped this Memphis team was, right? Coming into the year, they were supposed to be one of the premier teams in the country. Turnovers are the huge problem for them. They beat themselves most of the time. If they don't beat themselves, they generally win. Boise plays good defense, but can't shoot the ball. So if Memphis can just handle the basketball for one game, they're going to win this game. That's a big if for some people. But I'm hoping with extra prep time, Penny has them ready. Their guards know what they need to do. Just take care of the basketball, win one game, and then you can go get your doors blown off by Gonzaga. It doesn't bother me. That's why we're betting them just to win the one game, minus 142 against Boise State. This is going to be a heartbreaker for somebody. I think this is going to be a really close game. It's going to be interesting, two different styles, but I think Memphis's talent will just win out in the end if they don't give it away and choke at the end of it. So I'm going to go with Memphis. It's not my favorite pick on this board. It might be 12th out of 12, but we're getting it out of the way early. I'm taking the Tigers, and I'm believing in just the talent level that we've seen from them at certain times. So I like the Tigers. Next, I really love this one, and it's a simple pick. We're going down here to UNC, and you might see that I have them winning a few games. This isn't the hardest one they're going to win. I think they upset Baylor. And the same reason I think they upset Baylor is the reason that they're going to beat Marquette, and that is size and strength. They are too big. Baycott is too tough to deal with. They have some shooters around. They're not a perfect team. They don't play great defense, but neither does Marquette. For a Shaka Smart team, they don't play a whole lot like a Shaka Smart team at times. And I really just like what this UNT team was able to do. They were able to beat Duke. They have the confidence from that. I thought they might do it again if they were able to get that matchup in the conference tournament. I think there's a lot to like about their pedigree. Their strength of schedule is technically not as good as Marquette's because the Big East is deeper, but I think UNC has gone to war in those top-level ACC games, which might mean more than Marquette's, general strength of schedule. There should be a second stat for, peak strength of schedule or something like that. It's just been up and down for Marquette, and I just think they get bullied. I really think Baycott has a strong game. It's hard for me to imagine that he goes into this tournament and doesn't get a victory, and they have shooters around him, right? So I think this is one that I'm really, really circling. Minus 152, North Carolina. I'm loading up on that one. For what it's worth, as of now, I have all of these with one unit, but I'm round-robining them. So the odds will be impacted based on how you want to do this. I have them in sets of 3 and sets of 2. I have a lot of bets in across this 12. So do them however you wish, and we'll let you know what the profits are on the back end. But yeah, I like Caleb Love. I like Brady Manick. But I really think it's Baycott, getting that space and operating within it to create space for others. I know Marquette swept Nova. I'm not high on Nova. Everybody else is. I am biased. I hate Nova. I'm a UConn fan. Go Huskies. I think they get to the Sweet 16 as well, but it's not in the picks. And I just think Nova's a little overrated. And then Marquette beat Providence, who I just explained I think can lose in the first round. They beat Seton Hall, who I think I have losing in the first round. And they beat Illinois. That's a good win, but, I just can't I can't get there with them. They're led by a freshman who kind of came out of nowhere, and I just think UNC is too big and too strong. So we're going with the Tar Heels. Another one, fading the Big East again. Maybe this is just a trend for me, but I'm fading Creighton also. And I like the Big East. Don't get me wrong. I watch a ton of it because of UConn. But I don't think these matchups are very good. I don't think Creighton's a very strong team. And I really like San Diego State at minus 142. I think they've played, as far as the Mountain West goes, they played as hard of a schedule as you possibly can. They never give up points. Under 60 every single year. Creighton leaves some to be desired offensively. They have a big man. He's good. I don't think he's very tough. He's beaten up on smaller opponents, but San Diego State consistently knows how to pack the paint, and Creighton's point guard has been out for the season for a little while, so not having a point guard against this San Diego State defense, recipe for disaster. I don't like it at all, and I think this one could be really ugly. I think Creighton's going to struggle to cap 60 points here. They might not even break 50 the way I'm thinking this goes, so I would actually take an alternate spread on San Diego State if I had any faith in their offense, which I don't necessarily, but I do think they get by this game, and I think they give Kansas a run for their money in the second round, for what it's worth. By the way, I don't know if we'll be back for a video between these first two rounds, so at the end I'll throw in, if you're looking for somebody to make the Sweet 16, maybe we'll try to find something there. Don't have odds for it, but we'll do it on the fly. We're doing it live. What's next? Of course, the Catamounts. The UVM Catamounts. Let's look at Vermont, because they rolled their conference tournament. I mean, they just smash teams. They just rip threes and smash teams. They're small. I get it. They won the conference finals by almost doubling up by 39. Won by 32 in the semis. Won by 39 again. They just smash teams. They shoot a ton of threes. They don't lose very much. They lost at Maryland very early in the year. Lost to Oakland very early in the year in a close game, neutral court. Lost on the road to Greensboro. Lost at Providence when Providence was rolling. And then haven't really lost again. They lost at Hartford, which was a 1-point loss. And I didn't watch this game, but when I looked at it, I realized that Hartford just went 12 for 24 from 3 and kind of beat them at their own game. Now, that can happen. And Arkansas is good, right? Let's not act like they're not. Not adding bookmarks here, folks. We want the Control F. They have the 40th ranked offense, 16th ranked defense. Vermont, 40th ranked offense, 74th ranked defense. But this is really, I think it's misleading the way that Vermont can just hit shots and bury you quickly. It's like, I hesitate to relate them to Steph Curry, right? But that's how I feel, just in the barrage that they bring to you. I know that they didn't play anyone. I get that. But they beat everyone badly that they did play, which is all you really want. It's like when Gonzaga for years, even though they're in a good conference now, kind of, when they beat up everyone and won by 30 over and over and over, no one really complained about it because that's what you're supposed to do. What do you want them to do more than that? I feel the same way about UVM. Now, they're not at that level, but they know how to win games. And it's not like they lost to big opponents either. They only played the one. So I really think they're gonna give it a lot of shots. They are gonna get volume up, and I think they're dangerous. And I think at plus 172 in what is shaping up to be a shootout. Now, Arkansas is the better defensive team. I'm not denying that. But for plus 172 odds, I think Vermont is worth the look. I think these odds should be much closer to even in what will end up being a make your threes or you lose kind of game, and all Vermont does is make those threes. So I'm taking the Catamounts. Of course, they'll lose to my Huskies. I mean, come on, I'm not getting outrageous here, but don't be shocked if Vermont makes a run to the Sweet 16. I'm never going to say that again. It's the Huskies. Just saying. UVM, I like them. Different draw would be better. Next up, what do we have? Where are they? Murray State. Another team that went undefeated in conference, same as the Jackrabbits. I can't ignore that. San Francisco, again, West Coast Conference has been better, and they 16th strength of schedule. They had some out-of-conference stuff that was really good. They have competed all year. The problem is 6 losses in conference. Let's not act like the WCC is a Power 5 yet, right? The Dons, great team name. I almost want to take them because of that, but I won't. Lost to Grand Canyon. Lost to Loyola Chicago, who I have winning a game. Spoiler. Lost to BYU, not good. Lost to Gonzaga, didn't really fight at Gonzaga, though. That's what they're supposed to do. Lost to St. Mary's, what are you going to do? St. Mary's is better than they are. Lost to Portland at home, yuck. St. Mary's again. Gonzaga and Gonzaga. Lost 3 times to Gonzaga, so the in-conference stuff I'm not that worried about. They can play. They can definitely play. But, man, this Murray State team, I mean, It's not the Ja team, but it's close. That team is almost just as good. Now, they lost to Eastern Tennessee. Not great, but that was a long time ago. At Auburn is a brutal one. And that's it. So this team just puts up points. They score and they score and they score. And so does San Francisco. But I see the defense and the teamwork in general. I know that's just a really bland statement, but they play well. You watch them and you see it. You really see it. So I think they have enough guard play to overwhelm San Francisco. And again, I'm fading some senior love here with San Francisco. I do like the Dons the same way I like Boise State because of that, but I'm going with Memphis there, and I'm going with Murray State here. Going undefeated in conference. If you go undefeated in conference and I can't pick you as an underdog or an even odds bet to win one game in the tournament, then what are we even really talking about? It has to matter. Winning matters. Creating a winning culture matters. I talk about it a lot on this channel that, like, when teams are tanking, it ruins your ability to create a winning culture. And once you get used to losing, it's hard to turn it back on where you hate losing. And I think that matters in some ways, especially in the tournament. It's the same way when teams go in red hot. When the Huskies went in with Kemba Walker, we'll get to another Walker that I really like. He goes well with peanut butter, but we're almost there. That you get used to winning the same other way. So you know exactly what it takes to go into the game prepared, and I think that's exactly what Murray State has. I think they have better coaching, and I think they roll. That's a game I do want to watch, though, to be clear. That'll be a fun one. But Murray State Racers, minus 122. Pretty good. Let's go to the one I spoiled. Loyola Chicago. Now, I liked Ohio State early in the year. I like Liddell. I really do. He's a stud. This team should be good. They keep losing. 4 losses in their last 5 games. They peaked way too early, and they are valleying at the wrong time. Now, this Loyola Chicago team still has Sister Jean. Sister Jean's getting screen time, and she's winning a game. That's the fact here. Minus 105. New coach. They went to the Final Four not long ago. Sweet 16 last year. They're used to winning. Older guard, Lucas Williamson. He can really play. The stats don't jump off the page like Liddell does, but he paces this team really well. And I just see Ohio State go through some spurts where they're like, how is this team even in the tournament? They have faded like no one else in the tournament right now. I'm not sure I could pick them against any other team in the field. They might win. They have the star power to win. But, man, it's hard for me to feel good about picking Ohio State in any capacity. So getting minus 105 to fade them feels awesome. And I got Loyola beating Nova, by the way. I already told you, not a Nova guy. Not a Nova guy. Gillespie, I don't care how old you are. Get out of here. They almost lost to St. John's in the conference tournament. I mean, get out of here. Next one, another team that I'm just totally fading is Miami. I just haven't liked them. I've watched them a couple times. I haven't enjoyed what I've seen from them. And Andy Enfield at USC has this free-flowing style that I really like from them. The Pac-12 is up and down. But they have Evan Mobley's brother, Isaiah. He's big. He's good. They have a lot of length and size, which I think will screw up Miami. And I just don't really love this Miami team. I think Jim Larinaga is like discount Jim Boeheim in looks and play style. And they can score, and they have some seniors, but they beat Duke. I just think that was one of those games where people are going to point to and be like, look, they beat Duke. They can win. And it's like, well, one game doesn't necessarily do much. And they got swept by Virginia, who I think is really bad. Needless to say, they didn't make the tournament. I'm not a Virginia fan, but getting swept by Virginia means more to me than beating Duke, because it's, if nothing else, it's double the sample size, right? So I just think this is a free win. I think the spread is really silly. You're getting USC to win at minus 122. And I I really like Andy Enfield. If you remember back to when he was coaching Florida Gulf Coast, they did that Dunk City stuff. They just play loose. They play fun. And in a tournament that can get really tight for people, I think that definitely matters. So I think they have no issue getting past that first round. And then they meet Auburn in the second round, which is a tough draw. Next one, Virginia Tech, Texas. A lot of names, a lot of states. Texas, again, one of those teams that goes through spurts where you're like, I don't know how they're even on the court. A lot like Ohio State. They should be better. I like their coach. Although it did feel like Chris Beard got boomed a little bit when they went to Texas Tech and they just destroyed them verbally and then beat them on the court as well. And Virginia Tech's just peaking at the right time. I like that momentum kind of thing, as you can tell from a lot of these picks. I don't like teams that are going in cold. I like teams that are going in hot to win a couple of games. This will be a defensive battle, but I think the offense is just on different worlds. Texas just goes through stretches where they don't score for 5 minutes at a time, and they look like they don't know what to do. Virginia Tech doesn't feel that way right now, at least. And I have a hard time fading Chris Beard because of his defensive style, but I just can't take them. I just know that I'm going to, if we take them, there's going to be this stretch in the second half where it's an 8-0 run just by default because Texas hasn't scored. So I actually thought Virginia Tech would be a little bit of a higher seed. They did struggle for sure early in the season, but if that's behind them, they can make a run. And they really like to shoot the ball. They shoot it well. Almost 40% from three. Texas can't shoot at all. I just feel like this is a recipe for disaster. And you're getting Va Tech at minus 104. For one of the hottest teams in the country, I actually think they have a chance at beating Purdue, even though I really like Purdue. Purdue can't defend, so Va Tech, it won't shock me if they're going dancing Sweet 16. But I'm definitely taking them over Texas, minus 104. Next one is the longest odds that I have on this list, and it's not the sexiest game, but it feels like a free win. Nothing's free in the tournament, I should rephrase, but Illinois minus 315 against Chattanooga. Chattanooga has truly played nobody, and they've still lost a couple games, and I just think Coburn is a problem for these smaller teams that just haven't faced size and strength like Illinois can give you. And so I just feel like this is another bully ball situation. Unless Coburn gets into foul trouble or something like that. I just don't see it from Chattanooga. They feel like a team that always gets there and loses, and that's enough for them. And Coburn does it on both sides, and he's always in there, and he's just going to just patrol the paint. And unless they can find a way to get him off the court, into foul trouble, and space out the floor, which is really a tall order for a team in Chattanooga that they don't shoot an overwhelming percentage of threes at a high level, right? So that's the way you're going to stretch the floor and get Coburn out of his comfort zone. And I don't think they're equipped to do that. So I think Illinois has a comfortable win here. I'm not taking them against the spread, but I like the minus 315 number on the money line. Two more. We're going back out west, even though some of these games are played in Buffalo, which I'll never understand. I'm fading Michigan State. They just lose a lot. I currently have Michigan on the other side, and I'm thinking about switching it to Colorado State for the same reason, although that's a little bit of bully ball, and that's not on the list, so let's ignore it for now. But Michigan State just loses a lot of games. 4-8 against top opponents. Davidson beat their only one. Of course, the strength of schedule is different playing in these conferences, but I just don't see it from Michigan State. And I feel like all anyone wants is this Michigan State-Duke thing every year. I mean, it's so crazy that they just put them in the same conference every year, hoping for the K-Izzo thing, and no one says a word about it. Like, it's not truly random. I know they're on purpose trying to put people in certain scenarios, but then also they refuse to make all the play-in games the at-large bids, which they should do because reasons. So it's like, are you fixing it for entertainment or are you not? And you can fix the first four to be for entertainment by removing the Sweet 16 teams and giving them an actual game to play in. And you can also admit that, yeah, we put Michigan State and Duke next to each other hoping that Michigan State would win. unfortunately, they're going to run into a Davidson team that lost their conference finals, but is really nasty and shoots an insane percentage from three, while Michigan State does not. So I think this is going to be pace difference, just big time pace. And a lot of the time, I like the team that can slow it down and control that pace. But I think there's a key difference here in that even when it's slowed down, Davidson can still hit those threes and go on quick runs. If you get a 9-0 run with 3 threes, the game is maybe over. And the thing I love most about this is Foster Lawyer. Transfer from Michigan State. You know we love narratives on this channel. Subscribe, like, join the chat, blah, blah, blah. Love that. Love that story. You can see it playing out on the halftime show. It's a cool story that he transfers from Michigan State, goes to Davidson. They have a great year. He's dominating. He's playing really well. And they get a vulnerable Michigan State team that can be beat. They're going to have a chip on their shoulder because these seeds should be flipped. And I really like Davidson at -102. That's a pick that I am keying in on. A lot of coaching experience on Davidson. 32nd season coaching this team. Stacks up to the same thing Izzo has. And look, Tom Izzo can win a game in March. I know that he can. I don't think they should be favored. I don't think they should be the higher seed. And for -102 odds on Davidson, who can just bury you if they hit some threes early, I'll take that. The last one, my favorite one. UAB. Houston lost 2 starters who will not play, and they still keep winning, and Ken Pom loves them. They are ranked 4th in the country, but that doesn't take those injuries into account, right? So let's keep that straight. And UAB is 46th, but with a pretty high-ranked offense. And so while Houston is balanced, and in a normal year, I really like Houston. I took them to go deep last year, and the year before they did. Their numbers are great, but these numbers are not the team that we're going to be getting, I don't think. And the real consideration that I have is, again, three-point shooting goes heavily towards UAB, and it's about Jelly Walker. I'm a UConn guy. I like Walkers. The Kemba run came from a guard that just could not be stopped, could scorch and dominate at any time. He had 40 in the conference tournament, averaged over 25 in that conference tournament, and he can really drive this team to victory. I have no doubt. His name's Jordan. They call him Jelly. He goes great with peanut butter. You can't not take Jelly Walker. What a guy. They have come back from being down a bunch. They're not going to, I don't know if they're going to make a deep, deep run, but I think people are overlooking this UAB team and not understanding that Houston is not at full strength. And I think they're going to need all their horses and to be able to slow Jelly down. And it just feels like even if they're down 10, this UAB team can go on a quick run and turn things around. And that's what I like. I like explosiveness from these teams. I acknowledge that some teams can slow down the pace. And if you can combine those two things of being able to slow it down, being able to play fast, and being able to rack up quick buckets, which is why I'm taking Arizona to win it all, I really like UAB. Now, to be clear, I like them plus 8.5. You could definitely sprinkle the money line. For my round robins, though, and for these picks and for the stats, I'm taking them plus 8.5 because I think even if they lose, this game is really, really tight. And even if they're down 15 at the end, they can go on a quick run and cover that number. I think the number is just wrong and more attractive than the money line. So Jelly Walker plus the Houston injuries equals upset. That's 12 picks. I'll read them back to you. That is San Diego State over Providence, Memphis over Boise State, North Carolina over Marquette, San Diego State over Creighton, Vermont over Arkansas, Murray State over San Francisco, Loyola Chicago over Ohio State, USC over Miami, Virginia Tech over Kansas, Illinois over Chattanooga, Davidson over Michigan State, and UAB plus 8.5 against Houston. Now, last things last, which people don't say enough, because it's the same as first things first. Let's get to some teams that could hit the Sweet 16. I don't have odds on this, but since we won't be back with another video until in between the next rounds, I want to give you something that could get there. You know, part of me really likes Rutgers. I'm not going to take them over Texas Tech. That's a little too much for my blood. But, man, I would like to see them make a run. I just think Texas Tech is too good. I'm thinking North Carolina is the pick here. I really like them over Baylor. That bully ball mentality, I think Baylor's a little overrated. I've thought they were overrated for a while. I don't really love their style, and I think size and strength rules. So if you want to take UNC to get to the Sweet 16, I don't mind that. UCLA, I feel the same way. They've underperformed this year, but they proved it in the tournament last year. I like their talent. I like their depth. I think they could go a long way. Trying not to give you super chalky ones here. Loyola. I'm really a believer in fading Nova. I might be the only one. I really don't think they're great. Almost took the Blue Hens. Can't quite get there. But I think if you like Loyola to beat Ohio State, which I proclaimed earlier, then I think you can get on board with them beating Nova too. That's more just a fade of Nova's ceiling. And Iowa is a team that I really love. They're scoring the basketball better than anyone. I took them to get to the Final Four if you want that kind of pick, but we'll be back before then. I definitely like them. I think they can get an easier draw against South Dakota State, although this game will be fireworks. I mean, that over-under would be 180. It would be ridiculous. They can really, really score the basketball. Keegan Bradley, I think, could be most outstanding player of the tournament in theory. And I like Wisconsin, too. I think they're overrated. Davis on Wisconsin is just a freak. I don't love their depth, but I struggled to take LSU over Iowa State, even though Iowa State is terrible because Will Wade is not coaching LSU. So I think Wisconsin gets a really good draw and can easily make it here. Thinking about taking them over Auburn as well to get to the Elite Eight. So those are some picks that I like. Be sure to subscribe. Just kidding. Be sure to subscribe, like, share it, tell your mom, tell your friends, leave some comments, join the chat. We will definitely be back before the Sweet 16 games go off. We'll do another version of these. Hope these picks hit. Follow on Twitter and Instagram at Mike Mush Sports. I'm sure I'll be ranting and raving throughout the games then. Go Huskies. We'll see you on the other side. Let's go make some cash. Peace out.